Episode 51. Komori is haunting this guy for not leading her directly to where she needs to go the first time, although it was mostly her own fault. And I'm haunted by the fact that I didn't get that swift cast raise off that last episode. I actually checked the footage and I definitely did get the swift cast raise off, at least to the point that the icon for raise appeared on the screen, as in the icon that appears whenever it goes over a player, as if you're granting a buff to them. But I noted that even though it appeared over the dead player, it did not appear over their name in the party list. I must have died at the exact moment where the raise went off on my version of the game, my local PS5, but not enough time for it to reach the server, however that works, and snapshot there. In other words, if I actually had gear that let me survive a single hit from one of the mobs, the raise would have gone off. I would have died surely, but maybe the tank could have gone back up and, I don't know, saved it, that one pull. This doesn't matter whatsoever. It would have only saved like 10 seconds in the actual dungeon. Still, I pride myself on my swift cast raise. Sometimes. Alright, now where do we actually need to go? Corrupted crystals of sufficient size and strength are not all that uncommon, I fear. Fortunately, one of my other students, Siana, claims to have discovered another promising site in eastern Lenosia. Wait, that's not correct. Eastern Lenosia was where she was nearly killed when wandering too close to an imperial castrum. Haha, now that made for an amusing anecdote. It was western Lenosia, Pharaoh Sirius on the Isles of Umbra to be precise. I can't recall her exact reasoning, but something to do with one of Dalamud's talons or some such nonsense. What I can say for certain is that she is still in Aleport, attempting to gain access to the Isles. Why not travel there and see if Siana's inquiries bear fruit? If you can look past the crass and violent ways of the local pirates, you may find your time there to be quite pleasurable. Oh, and do not forget to take your makeshift warded pot, lest she think you unprepared for the task. Alright, I guess this quest is taking us all over, places we've been to before, kind of rounding out the unexplored corners of each area. This is of course because each of the 3 major areas in Reborn has high-level locations for endgame stuff, and they have to kind of loop it into the main quest somehow. Otherwise you'd just be, I guess, in Gridania for the end of the main quest, and you wouldn't make use of that real estate. That's my theory anyway. Can't imagine why they have you jumping around this much otherwise. Siana is above us. That's very serious. I've mentioned it before. But I guess those are where the corrupted crystals we're looking for are. The non-wind ones, of course. The corrupted crystals? Madam, I've no interest in being the butt of your jokes. So if you've no other reason for addressing me, kindly leave me be. Well, I'll be damned. Professor Lambertine did send you. Beg your pardon, it seems we got off on the wrong foot. I'm Siana, greatest of the professor's pupils, which is doubtless why he bid you seek me out. Indeed, I am an accomplished scholar with an extensive background in... Oh gods. Just listen to me prattle on and on. I must have given this introduction a dozen times over by now. Someone flying in at breakneck speed. As I told the professor in my many missives, I believe that the area surrounding Pharaoh Sirius is replete with corrupted crystals of exceptional strength. Unfortunately, I've yet to test my hypothesis, as all access to the Isles of Umbra is prohibited at present, for reasons unknown to me. You see, my attempts to acquire this information are often met with annoyance and disdain. It's rather puzzling, since I always take the time to explain my motivations in great detail to the subjects of my questioning. Mayhap you will have better luck wresting the information from these yellow jackets. I've all but given up at this point. Well, I'm pretty sure we outrank yellow jackets, so they should tell us. That's how the Maelstrom command works, right? I mean, we're adventurers, but... What is our rank, anyway? Storm Private First Class. That sounds like we outrank someone. They're above us, again. Actually, how much, only 2,000 still. Might have to do more fates for the remaining rank up that I need. Oh. What a weird location. How do you get here? Obviously, you can jump here like I just did. But it seems strange to design it that way. Obviously, players can jump if they've gotten this far, I imagine. But it feels weird to not design it such that a player can just simply walk there. I feel like most of the quests and areas that you go to in the game are designed that way in the first place for whatever reason. A compliance thing maybe, or something like that. It doesn't matter, it's just an interesting observation to me and me alone. Oh, you startled me. Don't you know better than to sneak up on a person at a time like this? What with all this fatuous gossip of spirits and specters haunting the Isles of Umbra? Just because I know it's nonsense doesn't make it any less frightening. Damn it. If we had gotten to this episode a few hours earlier, we would have made it in time for Halloween. Could have had another spooky episode, but I guess this is coming up in November. Whatever. You're keen on traveling to the Isles of Umbra? Bloody hells, lass, are you drunk or just crazy? Ain't nothing there but death, death, and more death. Surprised we come to this little prison again. I thought it might only be used by the Arcanist questline. The Isles of Umbra? What interest do you have in that godforsaken place? Ever since we were forced to abandon Pharaoh Sirius, the Isles have become not more than a graveyard for ships, unable to navigate the shores, and a purgatory for the souls dragged down to the death within them. This quest title is a reference to the earlier one we had, where it was called It's Probably Pirates. That was of course the quest where we fought a bunch of pirates in Sestasha, our first dungeon. Ah, Komori, you've returned. Tell me of your findings. Really? Infested with the undead, you say? That is a very, very interesting development. Excuse me for a moment while I gather my thoughts. And that's enough moment for you. Well, worry not, my friend. I've given your findings some thought, and I've concluded that this talk of spirits is not more than local folklore. As for while the travel to the Isles of Umbra is restricted, well, maybe it's considered too dangerous owing to the abandonment of Fair Sirius. Yes, well, anyway. While you were questioning those yellow jackets, I paid a visit to the local pub, since even an esteemed scholar like myself enjoys dulling her wits on occasion. It was there that I heard of a man named Siren, who was recently detained after returning from, wait for it, the Isles of Umbra. This is the first I've heard of someone actually traveling to and from there, so I'm curious as to how he obtained permission. Mind having a chat with him in my stead? He was arrested after all, so I'm somewhat reticent to approach him myself. Huh. I guess we use this prison more than I remember. Actually, I only vaguely remember this set of quests. I don't really remember it happening at this juncture in the story, but I guess I didn't remember that we come here for corrupted crystals. I only remember some of the stuff that we do on the Isles of Umbra. Which reminds me, I might need to do some shopping before we go there. I have to go back. She calls to me. Sings to me. Tell Mimidoa I'm sorry. Give him this, he was right. Or you could release me? Yes, release me. I will go and tell her. Let me go to her. No dice. Well, damn, it's already daytime. It's not much of a spooky ghost haunting if it happens during the daytime. Although, I guess there have been some notable cases where people have made it scary during daytime in certain horror settings. What did Siren have to say? That's not terribly helpful. I couldn't care less how much he misses his favorite bar wench. But what was that about a man named Mimidoa? That name is familiar. Yes, I know that name. Me too. Wait, that's the bastard who grabbed my arse the other day at the pub. Well, if you want to give him that feather, be my guest. I'm not going anywhere near him and his wandering hands. This guy. This bastard. I never got the chance to play triple tried against him, even though the option was there. This must be the prerequisite. You have to complete some kind of quest with him here, and then you get triple try from him. Damn it. I'm too late. Another initiate, are you? No? Then what are you? Speak up, missy. Can't hear you. Eh? Bugger me, is this what I think it is? No, it couldn't be. You found this, you say? Where'd you say you found it? Siren, you say? Was hoping to have a word with the lad, but Sounds like there's naught left twixt his ears. He was supposed to help patch up fairly serious, he was. Company sent me to supervise a lot of them. Weren't getting work done on their own, see? Half of them walked off, half of them ran off, and half of them up and vanished. What's that? You be looking for a passage to the Isles of Umbra? Why didn't you say so? I've been thinking of dispatching someone to look on behalf of old Mimidoa. Tell him how the land lies. Ain't nobody seemed interested till you came a-calling. Whole port's up in arms about spirits and so forth. If I had the gill, I'd hire some sellswords and let 'em sort it out. But you'll do in a pinch, you will. Show them this parchment to the skipper, and he'll see you there and back. Hate that guy. If only for the triple triad stuff. I mean, we also did his side quest under the assumption that we were helping the guy at the lighthouse get a date, only to no avail. Not his fault, obviously, but it still contributes to my hate for the man. So you went and had a word with old Mimidoa. I hope the valuable time you saw fit to waste amounted to something. You mean that disgusting creature was Skirfin's superior? I find that hard to believe. But this writ of passage does appear to be genuine, so it must be true. I must say, it is a relief to work with such an industrious woman as you. I look forward to hearing the discoveries you will make on the Isles of Umbra, without me. And there we are, level 50. I guess we should start worrying about actually taking the summoner quest now. But I have a time in mind for that, and that's not now. Fine, fine. I fail to see the justification for dragging me along on your journey. But if you insist, I will go as well. But 12 is my witness. If you leave me behind to be devoured by some horrid abomination, I shall come back to haunt you. Alright. And I guess before we head over there, let's pay a visit to Limsa quickly. This should actually be fairly quick considering that we have the boat over to the same Elport port. Elport dock. Whatever. Let's see. Not sure how you get these otherwise, but there should be at least a few being sold on the market board. Give me an elixir. Give me 2 actually. Just keep them in the back pocket. These are good for restoring a lot of HP. And a fair amount of MP, but the recast time is pretty prohibitive. I think I'll keep these potions on my hotbar, in case I found myself in like a fate or something needing to heal myself. 340 points is still pretty significant, especially on a 25-second cooldown. Of course, I don't really need the elixirs for healing. I'll just be just in case for any other purposes we might need them. Still 7:15 AM. Wonder how long this quest will take us. Guess I could have ridden the boat from this port over here, but it seemed faster walking, rather than finding my way around Limsa. Huh. Take me to the Isles of Umbra, she bids. As if it's as simple as, oh, I see you've got a writ of passage. Alright then, climb aboard. And here are the spooky Isles of Umbra. It's actually spookier than I thought. This is not the correct weather. They must have changed it for my spooky adventure. Caught some conversations while I was in Nimsa briefly. It's much more active now that I'm here in Seraph on world visit. This doesn't seem all that bad. I'm not saying I'd like to build a summer home here, but what the hell's with this? Here, take your pot and go on without me. You've harvested corrupted crystals before, right? So, it isn't as though you require my assistance. Speak to the man guarding the gate. I'm sure he'll let you in. Oh, if you would please excuse me. And there's the entrance to the lighthouse itself. Although I guess it's more than a lighthouse. I don't really remember. Beg your pardon, madam, but how did you come here? Access to this island is currently restricted. An old pot? I'm not sure I follow. Oh, I see. You wish to harvest a corrupted crystal? Sorry, friend, but you may have to return empty-handed. Why? The writ Master Mimidoa gave you may grant you access to the island, but only authorized personnel may proceed past this point. Why, you ask? Look up and see for yourself. When that giant mask of crystal struck the lighthouse, it caused severe damage to both the structure and the machinery within that once powered the beacon. Contrary to what the small folk would have you believe, the fires of Pharaoh Sirius were not the product of a mage's thaumaturgy or a colossal arcane bomb, but an elaborate contraption fueled by ethereal energy. Repairs are still ongoing, but it's anyone's guess when they'll be complete. What's worse, all work has ceased since rumors of the Walking Dead drove off our entire crew. Not that those rumors are incorrect. I've observed the fiend from a distance, at the ship graveyard to the south. What's drawn them to our shores is still a mystery, though. I'll make you a deal, though, Komori. Help me unravel this mystery, and I'll bring you your corrupted crystal. In fact, I shall begin searching for one that satisfies your requirements. As for where to begin your inquiries into the situation, it so happens that a party of 3 adventurers came ashore not long ago, seeking to scavenge valuable trinkets at the ship graveyard. I'd be surprised if they knew nothing of the undead infestation, so it might behoove you to question them. I think most adventurers don't know what's going on, so I'd be surprised if they did know something. This, of course, is just a little corner of the map. What is this? Oh, right. That's, not really important. Just some extra side content stuff. Not sure I'll even get to that in this set of recordings. Not really a spoiler, but it's Beast Tribe related. A lot of quests you can do for Beast Tribes. That's something we get to a little bit later, but I'm questioning if I want to do all of that optional Beast Tribe stuff. It's good for experience, and the story is nice enough to see, but it requires a lot of grinding. Not just grinding, but week-to-week grinding, because you're gated on how many quests you can do. Which I think they should remove for some of this earlier content, but I'll think about it. It's all there for the taking. 5 bleeding years' work of wrecks. And their cargo. But those queer dead things and that voice. Actually, that voice was quite nice. You saw them too? Right, dead people. Just shambling about, without a care in the world. Except when they do seem to care, that is, and start shuffling towards the water. Gods, that voice. That single fleeting verse. I can still hear it. Stay clear of the southern shore, friend. It took every ounce of my strength to resist. They were talking about how they were repairing this lighthouse. Spoiler alert, it never happens. Because you can't really change this, can you? In an MMO like Final Fantasy XIV, the world can't really change on that massive of a scale. I guess a game like World of Warcraft can get away with wiping out an entire swath of land or something like that. I'm not entirely familiar with it, but I don't think Final Fantasy is the kind of game that will make those kinds of changes. Especially for people going to the older story. Which I'm glad for. But it does mean places like this will never progress, which is sad. This talk of an alluring voice is disturbingly familiar. As if... But that's impossible. They're all dead. Aren't they? But if they have returned, that would mean... Oh, beg your pardon. I was just, thinking about something. Which reminds me, I received word that Master Mimidor would be arriving at any moment. Apparently he grew frustrated waiting for the sweet young lass with skin as soft as phoenix down to return. Which, I'm assuming is you. Really? This isn't really too notable, but not a lot do character NPCs comment on whether or not you're playing as a male or a female character. Of course, there are certain changes like how they refer to you in terms of pronouns and other things, but it feels like this is a line that would be completely thrown away if you're a male character. Obviously, Mimidoa has a keen interest in female people, but how would he refer to you if you were male? Certainly not as a sweet young man with skin as soft as phoenix down. Probably some other rambling thing about Nishits or whatever. Not really sure what he talks about there. Well, it doesn't really matter, it's just interesting to see a line like this that changes a little bit more than other lines. I don't know what sort of arrangement you had, but you should probably go and explain yourself. This bastard. I forgot he was this involved with the quest. But I'm remembering now. All this, just to stop me from playing triple chard with you. What's been keeping you, Initiate? I ain't getting any younger, you know. Eh? Some honey-acred harlot's been calling out to folk what wander near the ship graveyard? And it stirred up the dead and all? Bloody hells. This takes me back to my days as a cannon boy, sailing under old Mistbeard. But they wouldn't dare, would they? Not after the lesson we learned them last time. Bah, they bloody would. Though wouldn't they, brazen old biddies? Yeah, some folk said as the first purge would be the last. But I knew deep down in my bones, as this day would come. And come it has. I'd bet me bum ear a siren's behind all this. Nay, not one of the sanguine variety, dish it. I speak of the other kind. Them what's got feathers, and lure sailors to a watery grave with their sweet, sweet song. Oh, but it don't end there. No, drowning's just a start. See, even in death, a man stays bound to the beast, forced to do her bidden, till his corpse can't do it no more. 'Tis a fate I wouldn't wish on me worst enemy, except maybe in drink, and I'd regret it after. Any road 'tis up to us to stop this hell's-born hussy before she takes another soul. Of course, we can't send you marching off to war without these. Siren don't have no power, or a man that can't hear her song. 'Tis lucky for you I carry a spare pair. And lucky for both of us, I'm a superstitious old sod, eh? Well, she ain't coming to us, so we'd best head over to her. To the ship graveyard, Nishit. I do need the company seals. But not on camera. I'm in a hurry. Well. Someone is doing the Hildebrand quests. He's got it. We'll get to that later. I'm definitely doing the Hildebrand quests on camera. If I can get to that point. I'm just assuming that I'll get to all of the later stuff that I want to, but any life event could prevent me from recording the very next day. I could die tomorrow, and no one would ever know. Because no one ever watches these videos. If she passes near the shore, she's sure to spy the campfire and come looking. Just a matter of waiting now. Right, this was an instance. I guess this is a good way to make it nighttime. I'm pretty sure it's nighttime for this. Can't have a ghost fight and not have it be nighttime, right? There we go. I'm beginning to wonder if some sly bugger ain't spun us a yarn here. Wait, do you hear that? 'Tis her. Look, out of the water. She's come, Nishit, she's come. Looking good. Quick, lass. Shove them plugs in your ears and get ready for a fight. Soon as she realizes you're deaf to her ditties, she'll call on her dolls, and we'll be up to our necks in corpses before you know it. Ditties. Uncouth of me. Anyway. Guess we'll listen to her sing. Unfortunately, I won't be training my chocobo with these guys. Not in an instance. I'll take the damage. I refuse to stop casting for such low-level enemies. Not moving from this spot. Where'd Mimidoa go? Guess he's hiding somewhere. Oh. Bubbles. I don't remember these circling around. Are they just going to... What the? I see. Sweet Song are the bubbles that are wandering around. They're untargetable, so we're just fighting this guy. I guess they're a kind of stage hazard, maybe? Not really sure what those were doing. Well, we got through. Eh? Am I alright? Huh, better than that, Nishit. Happy as a sailor in a whorehouse, I am. Of course, I'd be happy as a sailor with 2 whatsits, if we'd gutted the songstress. But you can't have everything, can you? She'll not come crooning round here again, though. Not for a while, any road. And if she does, well, we know what to do, don't we? Thanks for the help, Bugger me. I clean forgot your name. Remind me. Komoy? Don't recall having known Nishit by that name. But if you're not me old mate, what's name? Why have you been so bloody helpful? Oh, never mind. Be seeing you, lassie. What a bastard. Not even the decency to offer a match of triple triad to the person that helped him. Oh, thought you only came out at night. Glad I checked. Give me an elixir. No. I needed a high elixir. Did I buy 10? Huh. Well, damn. That NPC, I don't really know why, but it's the only one that can give you those minions. I think a reference to an older Final Fantasy game, from what I looked up. Some kind of enemy that you could encounter and defeat by giving an elixir. Or by other means, but I think giving it an elixir was the most beneficial option. Actually, we'll be back for David. I'm gonna get that high elixir. Alright, market board. Give me an elixir. Just the one is fine. could have sworn that magic pod only spawned at night. Might only spawn during a certain time window, so if it's here now, then I don't want to miss that. Sometimes as a thought experiment, I try to think if it's possible to strand yourself in Final Fantasy XIV. In terms of not being able to go anywhere because you're lacking funds or something like that. In order to go a lot of places, you end up needing to spend gil on airship travel or boat travel or something. But for the most part, it's a pretty paltry sum. You do have the option, though, of spending all of your gil so that you have 0 and have no way of gaining them, because I don't think enemies drop gil. So that would prevent you from moving around certain places. But it wouldn't do the job of stranding you for a few reasons. One of them being that, like we did to get, unlike what we did to get here on the Isle of Umbra, our return trip would not cost any gil. So you wouldn't have to worry about, I don't know, somehow losing all of your gil on this island and not having any means of getting gil for the boat trip back. It's a kind of one-way gate. The other thing that wouldn't allow you to strand yourself is that you would always have access to return. Although it's certainly possible that you don't have return, because as I learned in this playthrough, you can avoid unlocking return by simply not activating any aetherites. Once you unlock 2 aetherites, you get return, so that option of not stranding yourself is not necessarily foolproof if you don't unlock it, but of course everyone has it. Of course, no one really thinks about getting stranded in Final Fantasy. It's not that type of game. You mean, it was a siren? But how were you able to resist her song? I see. I had heard that Master Mimidor was involved in the first purge, but I never actually... Having survived an ordeal like that, I can't blame him for carrying earplugs around with him. Anyway, I have something for you. The corrupted crystal you wanted, safely sealed within the pot, just as you requested. Please take it with my compliments. Oh yes, those minions I got. Wind Up Sun and Wind Up Moon. Kind of special minions. Special in that they're one of few minions that are just kind of stationary things. Mainly just kind of set dressing, I guess. Yeah, stay in one place just like the campfire. And I guess you can just have them around for a little bit of lighting. If you poke them, you can change the height. Just a little secret that I learned. There are a lot of minion interactions with emotes that a lot of players probably aren't privy to. Of course, it depends on the minion that you have. Some of them don't really do anything. I think petting and poking are the main things. Does this do anything? What about petting? This is a huge waste of time. It's a yellow one. Brown, whatever. I guess that plays the animation, maybe? Let's try it one more time. Nope. Nope, it was just a coincidence. I don't think this one does anything when you pet or poke it. Waste of time. Well, I know beckoning lets certain pets mount onto your shoulder. Sometimes pets just, or minions, jump onto your shoulder of their own accord, bird-like minions or otherwise. But you can manually tell them to do that if you beckon to them. Good for posing. Pose. Oh, it's you. Welcome back, Komori. You're looking remarkably hale, and... well, you're looking remarkably hale, I must say. And more importantly, alive. You are alive, aren't you? Aha! The conquering hero returns bearing a gift. Might I have a closer look? Impressive. Very impressive indeed. Yes, I think you'll be quite pleased with this specimen. Congratulations, Komori. Seldom if ever have I encountered a corrupted crystal composed of such a volatile overabundance of fire-aspected ether. What? You wanted a corrupted crystal composed of ice-aspected ether to counteract the effects of raging wind? I don't actually remember them mentioning ice. I must have missed that. Somehow Komori remembered though, apparently. Well, this specimen won't help you there. Anyone who knows anything about the elements could tell you that. You'll just have to keep looking, I suppose. Don't fret now. I know exactly where to find another corrupted crystal comprised of ice-aspected ether. An associate of mine in Gridania has been studying the effects of one such crystal on living beings. Eh? What's with that expression? I thought you would be pleased to hear this news. This is not another wild dodo chase, I assure you. And what's even better is that this time, you needn't use that warded pot of yours to protect yourself from the crystal's energies. Hidden's findings suggest that it is quite safe. Why, you ask? Well, let's just say that it has undergone a unique process that has rendered such precautions unnecessary. Anyway, do not let me keep you. It has been a pleasure, Komori. Come back and see me sometime, alright? Only if you have triple triad or something. I'm pretty sure there's no reason to talk to you after this. Not even a side quest. I think my theory was correct that this takes us to all of the major main three areas for the high level areas you didn't explore previously, because there would be no point after this where you're free to do so, no point where they can fit it into the story, so they do a little bit of a goose chase. Give you a reason to explore those areas before the rest of the story. Eden. Greetings and salutations, Miss Moriko, I presume. Sayana informed me of your adventures in Ailport. So terribly sorry about the misunderstanding. Though, as Professor Lambertaint is fond of saying, no action taken in the name of science is ever truly wasteful. To the matter at hand, corrupted crystals possessing the properties you seek could be found in abundance at the standing courses following the calamity. Alas, that is no longer the case. And while there is at least one suitable crystal that remains to be found within the 12's Wood, precisely where it is at any given moment is more difficult to say. Permit me to explain. You are familiar with the Spriggans, yes? The furry little rascals that are wont to seek out ores and other stones. But one such creature with an infamously insatiable appetite has single-handedly devoured every corrupted crystal in the 12th wood. Fortunately for you, these crystals take an eternity to digest, assuming they can even be digested. And I am reasonably confident that one still resides within his gut. It's quite fascinating, really. My theory is that this Giggity first consumed a corrupted crystal when... you couldn't care less about this, could you? To the point then. Giggity seldom makes his presence felt unless there is particularly fine fodder to be had. Therefore we shall require a lure, and I have precisely the sort he will find impossible to resist. Simply place this true heart. I shall save the story of the origin of its unusual name for another occasion. Outside the Spriggan's lair, and wait for the opportune moment to pounce. As for the method by which you retrieve the crystal from his gut, I shall leave that to your discretion. The area that we're exploring is over here. This isn't exactly the high-level area that I expected. Maybe my theory is a little bit off. I did actually think that the main story would never take you towards that corner. But I guess I was wrong. Should be able to... oh, didn't need to go here. Can just access the White Wolf Gate from any Aethernet shard. And... our shortest route is through that bridge. This area, of course, would only be around level 15 or something like that. Level 30? Higher than I thought. And then across the bridge is... still level 30. This quest is level 43, so I'm surprised they're taking you to some under-leveled area. Oh well, even if the level is off, I guess you're still exploring a previously unexplored location. Oh, I guess this place is level 43. Exactly. Huh. Strange that the above ground is not level 43, but this is. Brigands, very cute creatures, even the giant ones. Oh, I didn't think he'd attack. Thought we were outside the range. The level range. I should actually learn that so I can avoid this kind of thing. It's probably 10, isn't it? 10 levels above something and they won't aggro. Probably. Doing my duty. This probably does nothing to decrease the amount of bots that will remain in the game. Or at least the amount of bots that you physically see. But I'd like to imagine that some work is being done in the background that will eventually make them disappear. Pray do not sneak up on me like that. I was engrossed in... Wait. What is that? What is that god's awful smell? My word, that is a breathtakingly beautiful crystal. I see my supposition was not mistaken. And I also see you weren't averse to digging through the Spriggan entrails for your prize. We owe our furry friend a debt of gratitude, you know. This thick coating of digestive juices is protecting us from the harmful effects of the crystal, just as the worded pot you once used did. Why so glum, friend? You finally obtained the corrupted crystal you sought, one overflowing with Earth aspected ether. Calm down, I just. It is comprised of ice aspected ether, worry not. I suppose the joke was in poor taste, considering your previous 2 attempts were for naught. Funny guy, you. It'd also be funny if you were pushed into the water. Beg your pardon, Komori, I forgot to return your crystal to you. Oh, and there was a message to you from Professor Lambertine. Something about a man named Marquez. Apparently the professor misses the intellectual stimulation. Forgive me, I should have written it down. It occurs to me that I have yet to ask why you needed the crystal. You aren't planning anything nefarious, are you? It would reflect poorly on me and my research if it was used for evil ends. Ah, well, perhaps it's best I remain ignorant. I didn't become the professor's greatest pupil by filling my head with unnecessary information. Well, so ends the ballad of the professor's 3 greatest pupils. Each greater than the last. Greetings, madam. Do you wish to proceed to your vessel? All repairs and modifications have been completed, Komori. Once you bring me that crystal, nothing will stand between us and Garuda. I'll need to run some tests to be sure, but this looks to be exactly what we need. Worry not, Komori. I'll see that your hard work doesn't go to waste. The Enterprise is already more than a common airship, but mark my words, soon it will become something greater, something extraordinary. This is me. This is what I was born to do. Seems like we are on the eve of a great battle. And the best thing to do before that is to take a break.